All right, thank you all for joining me. My name is Pramela. I am doTERRA Diamond, and today I'm here to share with you a little bit about the ins and outs of the compensation plan. And the doTERRA compensation plan, I'll be the first to admit, when I was first exposed to it, it took me several times. You know, people had to explain it to me a few times. I had to read it a few times before I actually fully grasped it. And so I want you to understand that everything that we are going through today, don't feel discouraged if it isn't clear as mud to you right away, okay? But what I do want you to know is that I am here for you, and if you have any questions or your uplines, if you have any questions in terms of placement when you enroll someone new, the best way to learn is to speak to us, and so we can walk you through the thought process on where you can place people. All right, so let's begin with the basic introduction, and that is that doTERRA is a network marketing company. It's a multi-level marketing company, but it's really not structured as a direct sales company. And a lot of network marketing companies and multi-level marketing companies are structured as a direct sales company. So let's talk about what that difference is. A direct sales company is where people purchase their items directly from an individual who acts as an independent consultant. Now, so a lot of like Pampered Chef, Tupperware, maybe even Mary Kay, Plexus, like a lot of these multi-level companies function that way. And so they, people go, oh, I'm having a catalog party. I'm going to be placing my order this month. What is it you want? And then people order from you. You use your wholesale account, you place your order, and then you have to, sell it back to them. Now, the downside to this kind of a structure is that a lot of these people do that because they're trying to meet quotas, or they're trying to meet minimum purchases. They're trying to meet some of these requirements that these companies have in terms of their personal volume. And usually it's pretty high. Companies like Market America, for example, require sometimes in upwards of a few $100s a month, if not a few $1,000s a month within their binary structure. And so people, in trying to fit that volume to get commissions, have to sell a high level of product every single month. Now, for those of you who have been with doTERRA, you'll notice that that's not the case. doTERRA really is structured for you to spend your personal finances on your personal usage. So let me just pause for a second and mute everybody. I've got a little bit of background noise there. Okay. So that's one of the things that I think is a huge draw for in doTERRA, especially for someone like me. I do not consider myself a salesperson, and so the doTERRA compensation plan works very well for me in this way. So doTERRA is a network marketing company. So basically what that means is that you and your network and the people under you now work synergistically in creating that volume and the requirements needed in order for commissions to trigger. So a little bit of information on doTERRA. doTERRA is a essential oil company, and it's been around for about 8.5, 9 years now. And it came about where there was already an essential oil following in this country. The closest competitor that we have is Young Living essential oil, and Young Living has been around for 25 years. Now, in the 8 years that doTERRA has been around, within 7 years, we actually exceeded Young Living in sales and became the largest, fastest growing essential oil company in the world. One of the things that distinguished doTERRA is our CPTG standard. It is our copyright. And so critics of doTERRA say, oh, you say that your oils are certified pure therapeutic grade, but that's your copyright. We can't use that, so it's not really a standard. But it is. It is doTERRA's promise in raising the bar above what was accepted as industry standards. And part of that standard includes not just reliable sourcing and chemotype testing. And chemotype is basically the characteristic of the essential oil. And also all these standards and all these little requirements, the little nuances, like if you look in your Modern Essential book, you'll find that there is a chemical constituent section. Let me see if I have a book here. Putting together packages. Well, anyway, I can't. It's stuck. But so anyway, the chemotype, you know, you'll see chemical constituents. Like for example, Hawaiian sandalwood has a certain percentage of sesquiterpenes, right? And when they put that in there, that means that every single batch of doTERRA's Hawaiian sandalwood is going to meet or come within range of that percentage of sesquiterpenes versus monoterpenes. And this third-party testing is done independently. It's not done by doTERRA. They outsource it so that they can remain impartial. And a testament to the fact that they really do walk the walk that they present is that you'll see that there are certain oils that they have taken off the market, not because we cannot offer it to you because of our production issues, but because it didn't meet the quality standard. So, for example, Roman chamomile, Melissa, all of these oils were not provided for us because they did not meet the standard. Roman chamomile especially was taken off the market because one of the batches of Roman chamomile, the first batch that was taken off, actually didn't meet the standard even though it was already produced. And because it didn't meet the standard, doTERRA said no. However, they still continued to pay the growers because they wanted the growers to come back when they wanted to work with those growers when the quality of the oil was back on par. So I'm talking about this because I think that understanding the compensation plan of the company is great, but knowing and being convicted and understanding the heart and mind and the soul of a company also helps you understand why they do certain things the way they do. So, you know, these are just some talking points and some things that I wanted to introduce you to before we go into the, you know, the earning aspect of doTERRA. So doTERRA offers you 5 different ways to earn an income, and all 5 of these ways act concurrently with each other. You don't have to choose one or the other. You can qualify for all 5 and get paid on all 5. And getting paid one way doesn't mean that it compromises another way, which is another great benefit with doTERRA, because a lot of other network marketing companies will offer you one or the other and not a synergistic availability of multiple ways. doTERRA also does not follow a binary system. If you have been in network marketing, you'll understand that a binary system is basically a system where you basically, it's a numbers game. You enroll as many people as you can, so it's like that recruitment ideology. And this recruitment ideology makes you just pile people in, and you go straight down 2 lines, and you put as many people in as possible, and then the volume shoots up, and that becomes your income base. And even though it may seem simple, the downside on that is that your responsibility for making sure that people are educated and well taken care of becomes less of a priority as opposed to building structurally, you know, in a broad way that requires you to make sure that every single person is, you know, somewhat it is well taken care of. And as we go through the compensation structures, you're going to understand what I mean with that. Okay, so let's talk about the 5 different ways. The first way is, for me, the least interesting, the most tiresome, and I think the least rewarding way, and that is retail. With your wholesale membership, you have the luxury of earning, of enjoying 25% of everything that you earn. And so if you have a retail business, what that means is that people buy oils from you, and you're now engaging in direct sales, and you earn 25% of everything that you purchase. Now, the reason why I don't like that is that I feel like it's very inefficient of your time, and you've got yourself a job here and a lot of responsibility and a lot of running around. And my business, and you can run your business however you want, but in my business in the last 4 years, I would say that I've sold virtually no oils at all. I had to do it just a few times because people just did not want to sign up with a membership right away, but they really, really needed the oil, 1 or 2 oils, or they were just transitioning out of, like some other oils that they had, and a sample or was not enough, and they wouldn't accept my gift as with the oils I wanted to give them. So in the 4 years that I've been with doTERRA, I've only sold about $200 worth in oils, and I hated every minute of it. Another way that you can do retail is through your website. Now, that is a very common way for most people who engage in multi-level marketing to function. And if you want to follow my methodology, forget you even have that website. Do not direct people to that website. Do not give them that website. When people ask me if I have a website, I say no. And I say I don't work with that, because I want to deal with them. I want to take care of their enrollment, and I want to know what their purchases are, because a lot of times people, when they make a purchase, sometimes they go well over $100 or $200. I've had people in my downline who've had people purchase oils off their website in excess of $400 or $500. Now, if you do the math on that and they're paying retail, that's several $100, or at least a good $100 that they could have saved just with their wholesale membership and paying that $35. So I believe in that white glove concierge, way of servicing the people that we come in contact with, and I look at that as an opportunity for me to work with them. Another thing too is that the resources that they can get from you and from me and through EduUnited is diminished, because as a customer, they really don't have access to a lot of the education that you as a wellness advocate gets. And I think that, the education that we have received together as a community is invaluable, and they are forfeiting that. And I think that the use of essential oils requires a little bit of guidance. It requires a little bit of a community. And that's what we've become. And that's one of the best things I think about that we have with this membership. So that's the first way that you can earn an income with doTERRA. The second way was what actually caught my eye and caught my attention with doTERRA as a income potential. Now, before doTERRA, I had never been in a network marketing company. So I guess it was a positive thing for me, because I didn't have any of the bad habits. I'm putting in quotation marks because, I think it's, it's bad habits that you might have had or acquired from other networking companies. And, I didn't have any preconceived notions of what I should do or how I should do it. And so I was able to really embrace the doTERRA model and the heart of the way that the compensation plan was set up. Now, the Fast Start bonus is paid every week. And for me, it was a heaven sent, because I needed a little bit of boost every single week, because I was living hand to mouth at the time. And in understanding that the Fast Start bonus was paid to me every single week, it made me very motivated to make sure that I had a lot of endurance in making sure that I was speaking to somebody every day and following up with them and then closing them with a membership. So let's talk about the Fast Start bonus. Now, the Fast Start bonus is a system where you get compensated for every single person that you personally enroll. Now, before we talk about the Fast Start bonus, we're going to talk a little bit about what is the difference between an enroller and a sponsor. Now, this is very important, and I need you guys to really communicate to me if you do not understand the difference, okay? So an enroller is, if you are the enroller of someone, that means that was your contact. You were the one who taught them, shared oils with them, and you were the one who personally knew them, and they are attached to you. As the enroller, they can fall anywhere on your team. They can fall on your front line, or they can fall deeper in your organization. So, to give you an example, Mandy, I'm going to use you as an example. I'm going to unmute you. Mandy, who enrolled you?
Maggie.
Maggie, right? And you are not on Maggie's front line. You are, you're further down under Maggie's leg, I think. I can't remember. Is that right?
I don't know.
We'll assume that you are. Okay? But even though Maggie enrolled you, you don't have to be on, like, right butted up against Maggie. So as an enroller, you have freedom to put, you know, your people wherever you want in your organization. So enroller is very important for some of the ranks in doTERRA and some of the compensation plans. Now, a sponsor is where you place, where your placement is. So enroller is basically like you own the title to the house, okay? And then a sponsor is basically the real estate, the land on which you place the house. And it can be anywhere. Does that make sense? Karen, let me check in with you. Does that make sense? Okay, Sharon.
Okay. Yes, I'm taking more detailed notes tonight.
Okay, so let's just make sure that we're clear on this. Who enrolled you?
Theresa, and your example that you're giving on Mandy, Theresa didn't put me under her, she put me under her daughter, Val.
Correct. So Theresa is your enroller.
Correct.
And her daughter is your sponsor.
Right.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So we're clear on that, right?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So now that applies to the Fast Start bonus. The Fast Start bonus pays only if you are the enroller. So, Sharon, Theresa's daughter did not get paid any Fast Start bonuses on any of the purchases that you made.
Oh, okay.
Theresa did. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So now let's take a look at Fast Start bonus. I'm working on a few different projects. So, whoops. Let me find it. Okay. Okay, here it is. All right. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to do that, but hold on. Sorry. I apologize, folks. Give me 1 second. There we go. That's what I want. Okay. So this is the Fast Start bonus, and we're going to start off with this. Now, your Fast Start bonus, in order for you to earn any kind of compensation from doTERRA, you have to have 100 PV on your LRP. Okay? That's the first requirement. At least 100 PV on your LRP. And in our team on Edge United, the minimum that we kind of model towards is $150, and you'll see why in just a second. But $100 is doTERRA's bare minimum requirement. And the bonuses are paid on the new enrollees' PV for their first 60 days, not your 60 days. This is very important, and this is something that a lot of people have difficulty understanding. And they have the sense of urgency and almost panic that they have to enroll all these people in the first 60 days that they are a wellness advocate. And this panic comes from the fact that most other direct sales companies have a bonus or have some kind of a fast start. They call it a fast start bonus that triggers only for a certain period after you first enroll. So that's not the case with doTERRA. I have been with doTERRA for 4 years, and I still get fast start bonuses every single week. Every single week, I still get fast start bonuses. And it ranges. Sometimes it's like $15, yay. And then sometimes it's like $1,000, yay, right? So I'm going to show you why. Now, it's very important that you understand that it's the enrollees' first 60 days. So, Mandy, every time you enroll someone for their 60 days, anything that they purchase, you get 20% off. Okay? Anything that they purchase for their 60 days. So if you enroll someone on November 15th, their enrollment PV, you get 20% off. And then suppose tomorrow they want to buy the BOGOs. Whatever they purchase from the BOGOs, you get 20% off. And then next month when they trigger their LRP, you get 20% of that, all the way until January 15th. Okay? You get 20%. And then the second part says you earn 10% of the second generation's enrollment purchase. So let's use Mandy as an example. Mandy said that Maggie enrolled her, right? So that means that when Mandy enrolls someone, Mandy earns 20% for the new person's 60 days, and Maggie earns 10%. Okay? And then Ann Grisman, who is Maggie's enroller, earns 5%. Okay? So now, what does that mean for you? Suppose when you're just starting, and this was my story, when I first started, when I got my first Fast Start bonus check, it was because of an enrollment. Somebody enrolled, and that was my Fast Start bonus. And I was very motivated. My first check was from 5 enrollments for 5 family physicians kits. So the family physicians kit is 110 PV. 20% of 110 PV is $22, right? So 22 times 5 is $110, right? So that was my first Fast Start bonus check. The following week, I went ahead and I think I enrolled another 3 people. So I got 20% of whatever they earned, and I just did that every single week. So let's say that was January, all right? In February, every single one of them ordered, and I was very good. I had everybody order by the 15th. In fact, back then, I was even more strict. I had everybody order by the 10th, right? So by the 10th of the month, everybody that I had enrolled in January had ordered by February 10th. But here's the thing. In the first and second week in February, I was still enrolling people. So the LRP orders that were coming in February in my Fast Start bonus, because that was still their 60 days, I was earning 20% of that plus the enrollment of my new people. So do you see how that compounded? Right? If you are steady enrolling every single month, every single week, you can ensure that every single week you're going to get a check. And every single week, the bridge that you need to, the gap that you need to bridge, if you have a goal in mind for how much you need to make per month and you break it down into 4 weekly checks, that gap is going to bridge if you have 60-day Fast Start bonuses coming in from people's LRP orders plus you're enrolling. I'm going to pause for a second and ask me, and I would like you to ask me some questions. So I want to make sure that you're very, very clear on this. Brenda, may I ask you if you have any questions or if you want to reflect back just so, you're clarifying what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying, and that was a very good explanation of it, for me anyway,
Okay.
because I was wondering how that all worked and how deep those generations went
Mm-hmm.
as far as, the income and things. So I'm good.
Okay, great. Awesome. Yeah.
But we get copies of that slide. Can you email us copies of that?
Yes. Yes, I can. I think all of you here are going to be on Metal Club. So Metal Club is going to have its own page, and we're going to share all these files. Okay? So Mandy, can I check with you? Are you clear on Fast Start Bonus?
Yep.
Okay. So that's good. And let me see. Anybody else? Greta, let me ask you. Are you okay? Are you clear on this? Let me unmute you, Greta.
I'm good.
Okay, perfect. Jen, are you clear on this?
I'm clear on it.
Okay, perfect. You guys are like accelerated learners. Awesome. Okay, so then comes the second. Oh, wait, no, not the second. I always make this mistake. It's the third, because I always forget about retail. So the third part of the compensation plan is called the power of three. And the power of three has got to be my favorite for many reasons. I didn't understand the rank bit when I first started, so I just focused on what I knew. And the power of three seemed attainable to me. Like, it was like, oh, okay, you just do this and you get $1,500. I'm game, right? So the power of three structure at maximum pays you $1,500, but there's a little additional thing that I'll share with you later. But so the power of three, you know how we talked about enrollment versus sponsor? With the power of three, enrollment is not a factor. Anybody under you will count towards your power of three. Anybody. So, Brenda, to use you as an example, you are under Tressa. And if Tressa puts her cousin under you, and her cousin is her enrollment, not yours, she still qualifies you for the power of three. Okay? So let me backtrack a little bit and say, Sharon, you are under Tressa's daughter. You are enrolled by Tressa, but everything you do will contribute towards her daughter's requirement for power of three. And we're going to talk about the requirements in just a little bit. Now, for you, if you have two people under you and Teresa put somebody under you that you never met, that you had no contact with, that person, if they meet the requirements in order correctly, will count towards your power of three. Okay? So enrollment does not matter for power of three, and it's indefinite. Okay? So the cool thing about this is that you can put income into the hands and the pockets of people you care about in your team, whether or not they are builders. I find this to be a very, very gratifying thing, because for me, there were people on my team when I first started. When I first started, nobody had, I was running a lot faster than anybody else. My need and my desire was different from everybody else. So I had 3 people that I had to put on my front line, and they were not builders. And, some of them couldn't necessarily afford or didn't know if they could afford, the $150 every single month to place an order. So I was very, but they loved the oils, and the oils were working for them, and it was making a huge difference. And I didn't have money at the time to, give people, to do promotions and giveaways the way I do now. So how was I going to give people oils? I give you guys oils because I want the oils in your life. I want you to have them, right? But I couldn't do that. But with the power of 3, I could put $50 in the pockets of someone if I had additional enrollments and I put those people under them. And so what that meant was now they had access to oils, because if you had to place a $100 order, but you were getting a $50 check, aren't you more likely to place that order if you already love the oils and they work for you, right? I mean, am I making sense here, right? So the power of 3, and let's look at a little graphic. Let me see, I need to find the graphic. And my dog is being naughty in the corner over there. So I'm trying not to be distracted. Okay, so let's look at some power of 3 rules. Okay, let's look at the rules first. Okay, so here are the power of 3 rules. So any distributor participating in the loyalty rewards program with a minimum 100 PV LRP can participate in this bonus. So, Brenda, if Teresa has 3 people under you and you don't have anyone, right? You didn't enroll anyone, like, in this crazy made-up world, right? And she put 3 people under you, but if you don't order $100 on your LRP, you will not get the power of 3 bonus. Does that make sense? Okay. So in order to trigger this, you have to have an LRP order. Okay, so I think that's like really the most important thing that we want to talk about in the rules. And again, I'll post this so you can take a closer look at it. And then now we're going to look at some pictures of what the power of 3 looks like. Okay. So now everybody assume that you are green, okay? You are the green person in the picture on the left. And you have 3 people under you. Forget about the gray people, just look at the blue people. And every single person on blue team orders at least 100 PV. That meets the bare requirement. Now remember how I told you that on Edge United, we really try to shoot for that 150. Now let's do some math. If you and each one of the blue people under you all order 150, the total comes to 600. And that meets the 3rd requirement for your power of 3, and that you and everyone on that first level need to equal $600 in PV. The PV, when you look at your cart, when you order, is the green number, not the black number. So you and everyone on your first line have to equal 600. Now those gray people are there because doTERRA only requires you to order $100. So if you order $100 and the blue people order $100, don't you need 2 more people, right? In order to hit the $600, if they are ordering $100 as well. Now we want, and that's one of the reasons why doTERRA gives you the product of the month. They give you the product of the month as an incentive to hit 125, because they're trying to make it easier for you and everybody under you to exceed that $100 PV, to kind of bridge that gap for you, to level the playing field for you. Now, if you have, now the difference in this could be hundreds of dollars. If you have a lot of people on your front line who are not ordering $150 and are ordering maybe 50, 60, 20, 30, 100. And you know, you've got your volume all spread out on the top for only $50, right? So the first 3 people that you work with, you really want to invest in making sure that you're companioning them in understanding how these oils can benefit them, and make sure you follow up with them and get them on LRP, and they understand the benefit and the amazing savings that LRP offers them, so that they are ordering at least $150, so you can have a very efficient unit. If you want to have an extra person as spare, go for it. But I only worked with 3 people. I only had 3 people on my front line, and that's how I got all the way to platinum, just on 3 people. I had nobody else on my front line but the 3 people I was working with. So now, if you have your 3 people and they're blue team, now you take blue team and you put them in on the second level, right? And the blue team people each need to have the same requirements. They need to have 3 people under them. And let's just say in a perfect world, the 3 people under blue team, which will be your second line, all order $150. So Sharon, let's say that I'm going to give, you know, blue team 3 different names, right? Let's say Jack, Jim, and Jose. All right, the 3 wise men. And Jack, Jim, and Jose each have their mother, father, and sister. Mother, father, sister, all on their front line. Oh no, can't do that. Mother, sister, brother, all on their front line. And mother, sister, brother, all order $150. Now, Jack, Jim, and Jose each have achieved $600 in volume, correct? So Jack, Jim, and Jose will earn $50, and you will earn $250. Does that make sense to you? Okay. So let's pause here, and I want to make sure that everybody is following me on this. So let me just come back to you guys. Mandy, are you good? Okay. Sharon, are you good? Brenda? All right, good. And Jen, are you good? Let me unmute you because I can only see your ceiling. Jen, are you good?
Yes, I'm good.
Okay, great. And then how about you, Greta? Are you good?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Okay. So now we've looked at the first and second level power of 3. Now, the first level power of 3 is $50, and it seems like, man, that's the hardest cherry to pop. You're like, oh, my 3 people, you know, I keep trying and I can't get my 3 people. And, you know, it's like, but what does that $50 mean to you? First and foremost, if you're spending $150 and you're getting a free oil and you're earning points, and now you add that $50 into play, it's almost as if your $150 order is almost paid for, right? Better than Obamacare, some people might say. And then when you move into the $250 level, not only have you paid for your oils, now you have a bit of money left over for some paraphernalia, right? Your roller bottles, your spray bottles, your diffusers, and you know, you've got a little bit of play money, and you know, you might feel a little bit better about sharing oils and buying samples and giving them out. You know, it's now like you're getting ahead of the game. You know, if you're spending $150 and you're getting $250 back, you know, you're ahead of the game. So so now you've kind of stepped up into a new level. Now, $250 is a very interesting number in economics. The census show that the Americans who are on the poverty line or below the poverty line are only about $200 away from stepping over that line. And there are many people who are just falling short of what they need each month and are spending the last 7 or 9 days of the month on like ramen or, cookie dough, or, they don't have money to quite make it. The difference, the census show, is $200. And for me, this power of 3 is amazing, because when I started with doTERRA, there was no way I could write 3 people $50 checks. I could barely write myself a $50 check and not expect it to bounce. But because of doTERRA and the fact that I was enrolling in sharing oils, my 3 frontline people who, when I first started, were not enrolling people at all, I was able to every month put $50 in their bankroll. That's huge. Now, do you know how much money you would need to have in your bank account for you to earn $50 in interest every single month? Anybody like to gander a guess on that? Say, let's just say 5% interest, which no bank will give you. It's a lot of money. At 5% interest, for you to earn $50 check every single month, you would have to have about $10,000 sitting in your bank account. Does that math kind of resonate with you? I think it's 10,000. It might be 5,000, but still, right? You have to have that just sitting, and you have to earn, for you to earn $50 every single month, residual. What about $250? How much money would you have to have in your bank account for you to earn an interest of $250 every single month? Let's do some math. I'm like now curious. Like, just want to know. Anybody really fast with math, or am I stuck here on my own? I don't even know where the calculator is on my phone. Okay. So, did somebody do math already? Is somebody doing math for me? Because I can't find my calculator on my phone. Maybe I need to just use a pencil. But it's a lot of money. Can we agree on that? It's a lot of money. Think about it, right? For you to earn $250 at 5% interest.
Joel says $50,000.
Yes, that's correct. Thank you. My Asian brain is not working today. It must be my bangs. But it's $50,000, and he's right. Yes, correct. $50,000. That's what you need to have in your bank account. You can't touch it, and it has to earn 5% for you to earn $250 every single month. Now, does that shift your paradigm a little bit? Because for other people, for most people, when they look at it, oh, it's a $250 check, that doesn't mean very much. But when you look at it in terms like this, it shifts your paradigm, doesn't it? Your business is now worth $50,000. Do you understand? Your business is now worth $50,000. So let that sink in for a second. So I achieved my 3rd level power of 3 within about 4 months of being with doTERRA, which means that from month 3 to year 4, I have made at least $250 every single month, and that was leveraged off the first 3 months of work that I put in. Does the enormity of that kind of make sense to you? So I think maybe it might, if it doesn't quite sink in yet, it may at like 3 o'clock this morning. Like when it hit me, I really literally sat up in bed and went, what? And couldn't go back to bed. No amount of serenity helped me with that. So let's move on to the third level power of 3. And then this is going to keep you up for weeks. Not that I want you up for weeks. It's just metaphorically. But let me see. Where did it go? All right, I'm just going to use this image again, and then you guys are just going to have to imagine because apparently I lost it. So let's go back to this, and let's say that each person, each orange person here has 3 people under them, and each yellow person here has 3 people under them, and each teal person, has 3 people under them. Now you have gone into your third level power of 3, and that is $1,500. Every single month, for as long as you, blue team, orange team, yellow team, teal team, and everybody under them on that first level are placing their orders and meeting their guidelines. That's $1,500 a month. So let's explore that for a second. Suppose you earn about $11 an hour. Let's say hypothetically, you earn $11 an hour or $10 an hour. Let's make it easy. You earn $10 an hour and you work about 40 hours a week. That's about $400. So that's like after taxes and everything, let's say that's about $1,500. So you have to work 40 hours a week at about $10 or so an hour for you to earn $1,500. And then every month that resets, and you have to do another 40 hours at $10 an hour. And then again, reset, reset, reset. So let me ask you this. How many hours are you personally willing to put in at $0 an hour for you to be able to make $1,500 every single month without having to put in the 40 hours a week at $10 an hour? This is a serious question. It's a question that you need to answer, and you need to be serious about. How many hours are you willing to put in? How many no's are you willing to sacrifice? How many moments are you willing to give up so that you have that? And your answer can be a factor in how quickly that happens for you. So, Jen, if you don't mind me, I'm going to ask you that very difficult question. How many hours would you be willing to put in if it meant that at the end of it, you don't have to worry about $1,500 coming into your family's payroll every single month?
I would put in whatever would be needed.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah.
Exactly. Whatever it takes. Because the payoff is awesome. And so let me tell you what that meant for me. I hit my third level power of 3 within 4 months. I didn't keep it. I didn't lose it, but every month, I would have to patch it a little bit, for about 9 months. So that meant that for about a year, I had to keep a hawk eye on my first, second, and third level power of 3. I had papers and books and kept tally. And there was some months where I'm like sitting there on the last day of the month and I'm like, what do you mean that this unit is $595? What happened? Like how? And I'm like scrambling and trying to like get somebody to buy a lip balm, and it was stressful and it was awful. But guess what? After month 13 to this month, I have not had to look at my power of 3, and I still get my $1,500. So, and I don't think that's going to break for me. If everything else fails for me in doTERRA, I will still get $1,500 every single month. If the genesis of my team remains intact, and I think they will, they're going to be, they're lifers. They're going to be with doTERRA for life. That means that I will get $1,500, and guess what? My frontline person is going to get $250, and the person below them is going to get $50. And let me tell you, we have evolved as a team to the point where we are like almost 4 or 5 levels deep in some units where people are making $1,500, like me. $1,500 is what the census say it takes for a family of 2 to survive. My family knows how to survive on less than $1,500. You know, Mandy, you said that $250 means that you need to have $50,000 in your bank account, right? What about $1,500 at 5%? It's over $1 million. Just you finishing your 3rd level power of 3 will mean that you are sitting on $1 million retirement fund. $1 million retirement fund. Most people who retire in this day and age do not have $1 million in their pension. They have less than that. They don't have $1 million sitting, you know, just in their pension. You would. So may I just ask you guys what that means to you? Brenda, what does that mean to you? What does this, you know, the way I presented this, what does this mean for you?
Well, I'm already retired, but it would be, I mean, it would be that safety cushion that, you know, it would take a lot of load off, a lot of worry off my shoulders.
Right. And how about what you can do for your grandchildren?
Well, and that's it. I mean, our granddaughter and daughter have moved in with us, so I've given up my other jobs that I was doing along the side to care for her. So it would be tremendous to be able to replace that.
Right. I mean, think of what, I mean, just and I really, you know, take a moment and dream big and write down all the things you could do with $1,500. Write it down, because when you write it down, it will become real. And there is nothing stopping you from doing it, because the last I checked, there were 318 million people in this country. And though some of them are children, someone is turning 18 every single day. And there are more people who do not know about doTERRA than there are people who know about it. And all you need to do is learn how to speak to them. And we will do that together. And here's the thing. While you are earning $1,500 and you are the sunshine, everybody below you is going to benefit from the shadow. Not that they're standing in your shadow. Because you cannot make $1,500 without putting $250 checks into people's pocket and $50 checks into people's pocket. Because I make $1,500, that means at least 3 people are making $250, right? And 12 people are making $50. That's huge. That's a blessing. That's abundance. You know, that's amazing. So, Mandy, let me ask you, what does this mean for you?
I think it means that there's a lot of potential and unlimited possibilities.
Yeah. I mean, only on the third way that you can earn an income with doTERRA. All right. Is everybody clear on the power of three? Three people,
Yes.
LRP, $150, and then do it again, and then do it again. And if you have to do it on your own, guess what? You can do it. But it's better if you can get them to do it with you. But if they don't, guess what? You can do it on your own. I did. You absolutely can. And the people who started making $250 and $50 all of a sudden got super excited and went from like, oh, you know, I don't know about these oils, to like, I have 7 people. When are you having your next class? Because holy crap, I got a check from doTERRA, and how do I do this again? I'm like, you didn't do it, but I'll show you how. Right? Does that make, you know, you can't stop the excitement. So when you're building your power of 3, try and finish unit by unit instead of putting one person under this person, one person under this person, one person under this person. Try and finish it up for someone, or come, you know, give them 2 and go, you need 1. Let's do it together. You're going to get $50. Because once you get that one person to earn, you know, who's earning $50 or $250, they're not going anywhere, guys. Right? It's not that I'm holding them hostage. They love the oils, but, you know, they're really not going anywhere now. Does that make sense to you guys? I'm going to take that as a yes, right? Okay. So now we're going to move on to the 4th way that you can make an income with doTERRA. And this is the unsung hero in the commission plan. It's called Unilevel. And most other network marketing companies work their Unilevel the opposite way that doTERRA does. Most other network marketing companies pay a higher percentage at the top, and then they trickle down and do a lower percentage at the bottom. Now, if you just look at the power of 3 concept and say you're building like power of 3, are you going to have more people at the top or at the bottom? Bottom, right? The top, you only have 3. The second level, you have 9. And then the third level, 9 minimum. And then the 4th level, you're going to have like, a whole slew of people, right? And as it goes down, you're going to have more and more people, right? So you have more people at the lower percentage and less people at the top. So the doTERRA Unilevel hurts in the beginning when you're first starting out, because you're like, remember Fast Start bonus? You got used to 20% every time the first 3 people that you enrolled were purchasing, or anytime one person that you enrolled was purchasing for 60 days. And then you have to take the hit of going from 20% of their order to 2%. Ouch. I was like, when I first read that, I was like, whoa, what? Panic mode. What? How? Like, that sucks. But it doesn't. And here's why. I'll show you. Okay, give me a second. Are you guys looking at my desktop? Because it's awful. Don't look at my desktop. Okay. So here is what the doTERRA Unilevel looks like. Okay, I'm going to share with you a few images. This is the first one. So I want you to pay attention to the gray screen, okay? Now the gray screen shows you how other companies' percentages work. So and they're saying that, let's pretend like it's like the doTERRA structure, and you have 3 people on your front line ordering about $150 every single month. So the 3 people on your front line, if you're earning 7% on them, you'll earn $31. And then the people on your second line, so if you qualify for your second level power of 3, your Unilevel will give you $112. If you finish your third level power of 3 with a different company, you'd be making $355. But with doTERRA, it's the opposite. And if you look in your first level, you'll make $9. And the sucky bit was I actually got a $9 check from doTERRA. Seriously, like that month I got $9. And I looked at it, I'm like, are you kidding me? Why? And I was quite offended. But and then the next month I got, like 50 some dollars. In the third month, it was like 200 some dollars. Or yeah, $200. And then the fourth month was, about $270. And what that did for me was, whatever commission check I was expecting, and it held steady for a while at about 200 some dollars. So what it did for me was that every month when I figured out how much I was anticipating receiving, I just was happily surprised because it was a little bit more. But once your team grows, you will find that as you get deeper and deeper, your percentages, your unilevel amount goes higher and higher. So if you're following that model of like just 3 people, 3 people, 3 people, 3 people, as you go down into your lower levels, you end up making higher and higher amounts in your unilevel. And the unilevel doesn't matter who the enroller or the sponsor is. It will just trigger no matter how that person is connected to you. And this is very awesome because it forces you. doTERRA put this in as a compensation plan and made the percentages lower at the bottom, not just because there are more people at the bottom, but because they really wanted you to honor your entire team, not just the people at the very top and not just your builders, but to honor everybody on your team and it's a reminder for you to make sure that you're not favoring anyone on your team. Everybody is equally important. And, I know that many of you have a strong relationship with me. I want you to know that even if the unilevel didn't exist, I would still, definitely answer every call that you have. Absolutely. This is just a cherry on the top. And this was something that I didn't even pay attention to and didn't realize that this was going to be a number, because when I first started with doTERRA, and actually up until about 1.5 years ago, I didn't even see these numbers. I didn't even know that this was a potential. So in my first few months with doTERRA, like I said, I know I was like $9, $49, $250, and I held steady at $250 for a long time. Right now, my unilevel is about $5,000 or $6,000. And do I have about 7 levels? Yeah, I have like 9, 12, 11, 12 levels, but they're not always, perfectly 333, there are some breaks here and there. And so therefore I'm not making $32,000, $571. But guess what? There are a lot of people in doTERRA that do just on unilevel. There's a woman on our upline. Her name is Danielle. Danielle has enrolled only 1 person, yet Danielle makes about $10,000 a month because of her unilevel, because of everything that everybody is doing under her. Pretty cool. I'm not saying that you guys should do that. I'm just saying that it's there. So the unilevel is, you saw, with that chart, did it make sense to you how the unilevel works? Now, there are little nuances, but I'm not going to go into that, because what happens is, and there's a little chart that you can look at. Why rank is important, because every time you hit a new rank, you actually open up new levels. And for most people, the way you build, those levels are not going to open up for you anyway, because, in order for you to hit a certain rank, you need a certain number of people. And, if your diamond leader is smart, she would be telling you to build correctly and kind of place your people right. And so you can trigger your power of 3 and so on and so forth. So hopefully you guys have that going for you. Otherwise, I'm sorry. You can find a new diamond person, right? Just kidding, don't. So anyway, you want to look at this chart, which I'll post for you, but basically it shows you, if you're a consultant, it only opens up your first level because, there's nobody else there. Your second, if you're a manager, it opens up level 1 and level 2. Now, don't let this, boggle your mind. don't even worry about it. It's just there. And that's not something you need to pay attention to. Just know that if you're building the way I'm telling you to, it's just going to naturally open up. Just don't try to remember any of that. So let's pause for a second. Is unilevel something that makes sense to you guys? Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Sharon? Yes?
Yes, I
Okay.
understand this a lot more doing it a second time.
Okay. Yeah, you're
So
better.
I'm glad.
You're way better than, because I promise you, Brian Tess, who was the one who tried to teach me my, the compensation plan, gave up and said, just call me at the beginning of the month. I'll tell you what to do. And that's what he did. I would call him in the beginning of the month. What do I do? He goes, you need to enroll this many people and you need to put them here and then you're good. And I'm like, all right. And that was the sum of the direction I got, because I couldn't understand this. So you're
So I
ahead.
just have one question.
Yes.
So when you're in this unilevel, where whatever point you're at, you're still getting your power of 3, whether it's 250 or 1500, whatever, however many times. That's still coming in?
Yes. So it's very important for you to know that the 5 ways that I'm telling you that you're going to earn with doTERRA can all happen at the same time. You don't ever have to exchange one for the other.
Okay.
To give you an example, if I'm enrolling and say hypothetically that I get $250 every week from Fast Start bonus, the Fast Start bonus, and say, in Fantasyland, I make $100 every month on retail. Okay. So that's, right there, that's $1,100, right? Between Fast Start bonus and retail. And then say I do my 3rd level power of 3, that's $1,500. So that's $2,600, right? Yes, $2,600 that I'm making. And then say I get $250 in unilevel, that's $2,800. And $2,850 that I make every single month. So all of that kind of goes in together. You don't have to exchange one for the other, ever. Okay. Greta, how are you doing? Is this making sense to you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so that brings us to the last way that you earn an income with doTERRA, and that is rank. And rank is where it gets a little bit confusing. And that is where it requires a little bit of strategy, and I'm here for that. I'm very good with placements. In fact, I have other diamonds that come, and ask me to help them with placements. And I'm a baby diamond. I was a baby silver. I was a baby gold. And what I mean by that is that I hit all of those ranks with very few people and very small volume, because I was very efficient in the way I placed people and, how we synergized the team. So most diamonds hit diamond with $150,000 to $250,000 in volume minimum. The first time I hit diamond was with $60,000 in volume. That's how efficient our team is. The first time I hit silver was with not one extra person out of place. It was like, boom, 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 perfect. It was like, and so you can come to me, and I love placement. I love strategizing. That's my favorite thing about the business aspect of doTERRA. I love putting people where they're going to be supported, and finding ways to kind of really maximize on your team. So this chart that I showed you before gives you an idea of what you need in order to hit rank. Now, from consultant all the way to premier, You get $0 for hitting any of those ranks. They just give you a pin and a certificate. It's, so it's not something that you get paid for. From consultant to elite, you don't even have to have enrolled anybody in order to hit those ranks. People above you can be working and you can hit those ranks. But when you hit Premier, all of a sudden, you'll see that this thing triggers over here, this number 2 and executive. That means you need 2 executive legs that are personally enrolled by you. I don't need you to remember this. Don't worry about it. When you come close to those ranks, we'll talk about it. But I just want to talk to you about compensation right now. The first rank that you get paid at is silver. And the silver compensation is $150 every single month. Not a whole lot. But remember, it includes your unilevel, it includes your power of 3, and it includes your fast start bonus. And then the second paid rank is gold. And at gold, all of a sudden, you're making $750 every single month. And that is in addition to all the other compensations that you have. Platinum is $1,500 and diamond is $4,000. Blue diamond is ridiculous, and presidential diamond is even more ridiculous, and we're not even going to talk about that because it's like monopoly money. So what the average silver makes in doTERRA is about $2,800 a month in accessing all the 5 ways that they can make money. The average gold makes about $4,800. The average platinum makes about $7,800. And the average diamond makes about $17,000. The average blue diamond makes about $34,000. The average presidential diamond makes like, I don't know, I think it's like 190,000 or something like that. Don't quote me. I don't look at those numbers until until I actually am that rank. I'm like, oh, how do I compare? So so I'm going to tell you what my reality was when I hit silver. Because I had my 3rd level power of 3, I was right on the mark. I was exactly at the average silver, about $2,800. When I hit gold, I was a baby gold, so I was making about $3,000. By the time I was at the end of gold, almost to platinum, I was making about $4,500 to $4,800. So I was on the mark there. As a platinum, I was right on target. I was about $7,000. As a diamond, my first diamond check was $13,000. I couldn't even imagine. Like when I saw that check, I think my whole world turned upside down. I'm still floored. The highest check I've gotten with doTERRA as a diamond is $17,000. And I don't make that every single month, but it's still really good. And when I hit gold, I was ready to be like, good, satisfied, content, because I didn't feel like I needed more than $3,000 or $4,000 a month. As a single mom, I felt that that was a victory for me from having gone from nothing. And my children were a turning point for me because that year, because I did it within a year, that year during Christmas, we no longer qualified for bootstrap, which was fine, or food stamps or any kind of assistance, which was fine. And it was with great joy and gratitude that I went to the store and bought winter jackets for my children, good ones that they could actually go out and wind chill in and play and make igloos, And my children were able to pick out winter jackets for a family that we were sponsoring. Identical winter jackets, exactly what they had. And that was a very thrilling moment for them when they realized what they were doing, because they knew what it felt like to be on the receiving end. And they knew that they had spent 3 years, despite getting winter jackets, being cold, because the winter jackets were not warm enough. So we were able to we picked Columbia. They had Columbia winter jackets, and they were able to buy winter jackets for another little boy and another little girl, and I bought it for their parents. And my children were excited about it. And then when we delivered it, when they came home, they said, why do we only buy it for one family? Mom, why can't we buy it for more? There are more families that need it. And I'm like, well, that's all we can afford. And my children said, well, what do you need to do to go and make sure that we can buy more winter jackets next year? I was like, but I make cookies. I stay at home. I get you off the bus. And they said, no, we want more winter jackets. And so that's why I stopping and went on to hit diamond. And one of the things I want to communicate to you that's very important is that whatever limiting belief that you have about money, I want you to address it and understand that money doesn't actually exist. It's a currency that's created by man. Unfortunately, money is required in this world that we live in. And a lot of us feel guilty about thinking about money or wanting more because we compare ourselves with everybody else around us and go, I'm normal. But I challenge you to raise the bar on normal, because I believe that money, there's nothing wrong with money, because money in the hands of good people means that you get to do good things with it. So guess what? My children and I still live on a gold bonus, $3,000 to $4,000 a month. Everything else that we make, a small percentage of it goes towards, like savings for their college or whatever. Very small amount goes towards my retirement, and everything else goes to recovery centers and to domestic abuse programs. And last year, my children and I gave between $80,000 and $90,000. And we can do that because of doTERRA. And we were able to do that because I got rid of the limiting belief that I had on what kind of money I should be content with. So it's not about whether it's a good life for you, but it's about what you can do with the money that you have. And what's interesting for me is that 4 years ago, I hung around with people who were victims, who got together every single week and we talked about how horrible our life was, how somebody had wronged us and how we were struggling. 6 years ago, my life was a lie. And the people that I had to spend time with were not good people, or were people who didn't know who I really was. Today, the people I call, my friends in, like the diamond and above group in doTERRA, and they are people who, because they hit diamond, are going out and building charter schools in their community, or building wells or orphanages in Romania and Bulgaria. They are actively fighting against human trafficking. One of my diamond friends had a family in their community whose house burnt down. And it just so happened that there was a lapse in their insurance by one day. The entire house, everything they owned, burnt down. The community tried to set up a GoFundMe page. And this diamond went and talked to a realtor and said, tell them to pick out a house, and bought it for them. Flat out paid it for them. Cool. This is the kind of heart that doTERRA invites. When you hit a leadership level, you get to spend a lot of time with the owners of doTERRA. You get to, and they don't offer you Mercedes and pink Cadillacs and trips. What they ask you is, what's your mission? What's your purpose? What's your bigger goal? How are you going to be a servant leader for this planet? It's a very, very, very inspiring company to be a part of. And the biggest payoff, the biggest compensation that you can get from embarking on this journey is that you get the opportunity to become the person you need to be in order to be that servant in the lives of others. And you get to really make a huge impact in the lives of so many people in ways that I don't think you can even imagine for a moment, but I dare you to start dreaming. So I've gone over my time, as I always do, but I hope it was worth your time. And I thank you so much for being here with me. So I'm going to pause right here and answer any questions that you might have. So go ahead and, mirror back what you've learned today, or ask me any questions that you might have about the compensation plan. Anybody?
Pramela,
Yes?
I don't actually have any questions. I just wanted to tell you thank you, and for sharing some of your story and some of your heart. It's very inspiring.
Thank you. And I want you to know I'm cheering you on,
Thank you.
because my mission is not for me to make a lot of money. I feel like, okay, if I can make this amount of money, but I've got like a whole bunch of diamonds under me, look at how powerful our team is going to be in what we're going to do it with, in our community. I mean, imagine that, right?
Absolutely.
And what's really interesting, I got doTERRA to give me some numbers. And because of the power of three, like how strongly I built the team that I had, in Wisconsin with the power of three, in our first complete year in my second complete year in doTERRA, I had doTERRA give me the numbers on every single person that earned a commission. They didn't tell me who, but they gave me a total number. So in central Wisconsin, because I'm going to say this, I'm not saying this without ego, I'm saying with absolute humility, because I was a part of doTERRA and I shared the oils with people, and they shared the oils, and and then someone else shared the oils, and someone else shared the oils, and people were getting paid fast start bonuses and power of three and unilevel and rank bonuses. We brought $100,000 in additional income to central Wisconsin in the second year that I was in doTERRA. And I've been in doTERRA for 4 years, and my income has more than tripled since then. So that means that everybody around me, their income has also tripled. Or there are more people making small amounts of money, or average amounts of money, or some money. And when you add all of that together, we are bringing money into our community, which means that when you go and you spend money, with a local bookstore, or, you buy things from the farmer's market, and you are using your doTERRA money for that, you are putting money into that economy that didn't exist before. Very cool, right? So, a lot of my money goes to Amazon. I'll admit that, but it's okay. So, but Brenda, do you have any questions for me? What do you think of, this explanation and this presentation on the compensation plan?
It's well worth the time. And even though I have to get up super early in the morning, I'm sticking through this, because this was the end of it that I was very fuzzy on. But I have a much clearer understanding. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. And I did record both of the calls that I had today.
Excellent.
So you can come back and revisit it. You can review it.
Excellent.
I also have a call tomorrow. And I got them at the same time at 1 o'clock and 9 o'clock Central, and that is what
she wanted to join us tonight, but she had to work. So
okay, great. Well, I'll recorded it, so you'll have access to it. Okay. But tomorrow we're not going to talk about the structure. We're not going to talk about the compensation plan. We're going to talk about the different styles at which you can achieve. The architecture, right? On how you can earn an income. Tomorrow we're going to talk about what you need to furnish and construct that house. Okay. And that's what we're going to cover. And this is going to be what we're going to launch pad, like Metal Club with, which I've been trying to get started, but I just can't get the traction. But I think with what we have and who we have, we're just going to go. and I've been waiting for a number, of people to get back to me with questions that I've had or homework that I want to give them. And I'm just not going to wait for that anymore. We're just going to go with what we have. So, so this was, I think this is an important starting point. So I want to thank you all very much for sitting with me and allowing me and giving me permission as your diamond to present information to you in a way that's very different from anything else that is normal out there, because I can't do that. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to explain things to you about oils or about the business or about duplication in a way that is packaged out there, because it's not me. So I want to thank you so much for being the first group of people in my life who have allowed me to truly be me. That means so much. So I want to thank you all so very much. And I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And I can't wait to, see you all again. And I want to thank you for being a part of my everyday. You are part of my everyday when you interact with me on Facebook and when you text me. And it means everything to me. So thank you so much, and you have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Pram.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.